We are going to do a tutorial called Make a City. I'm going to start in Illustrator, File, New. We have a new document screen. We're going to set our units to pixels. We want our width to be 800 pixels. Our height should be 600 pixels. And our color mode under advanced options will be RGB. And let's click create. Okay, so we're going to turn on our grids and guides. I'm going to control minus and zoom out a bit. Now on the tippy top, go to edit, preferences at the bottom, and guides and grids. Edit, preferences, guides, and grids. Here's our preferences window. And we want grid, not guide, we want our grid to be set every 1 pixel. Subdivisions 1. Okay, so grid line every 1, subdivision every 1, and click OK. Now on the tippy top again, we want to go to now view. View, and we want to snap to the grid that we just made. Okay, and we can also show the grid that we just made. Okay, so now we have a 1 pixel grid, and we want to open up our layers window. Go to window, layers, find your layers window. And we want to rename layer 1. I'm going to double click on layer 1 and name it background. I'm going to add another layer. So let's add the bottom of my layer window, create new layer, looks like a piece of paper. And this new layer, I'm going to call photos. Double click on it, P-H-O-T-O-S, photos. Okay, another layer. So I'm going to create new layer. And this one I'm going to call city, C-I-T-Y, city. Okay, so we have 3 layers, city on top of photos on top of background. Select the background layer so it's highlighted and lock city, so next to the eyeball, lock city, lock photos, and we have background selected and unlocked. Select the rectangle tool from your toolbar. Find the rectangle tool, and we're going to click and drag to make a rectangle the same size as our artboard. So start up in a corner, click and drag to the caddy corner to make a rectangle the same size as the artboard. Okay, let's give it a stroke of none, and a fill. Let's double click on our fill color, and we're going to give it a hex code. FFF8F0. Okay, and it's a very soft eggshell white. It almost looks white. Okay, now let's Control C copy or edit copy, and Control V paste or edit paste so that you have 2 rectangles. Okay, in our layer window in the background, I want you to click on the caret to open up background. And inside your background are two rectangles. For this new one that we made, we can change the color. Oops. We're gonna give it, so double click on your fill color, and we're gonna give this new rectangle a fill of 808080 and click OK. Okay, so I'm gonna move this gray rectangle so it's right on top of the other one. So I have this gray rectangle on top of that eggshell white rectangle. Okay, select the gray one, okay, highlight just the gray rectangle, and on the tippy top go to Effect, Texture, Grain. Effect, Texture, Grain. Okay. And we want to set the intensity. Going to set the intensity to 40, contrast of 50. The type, grain type is stippled. So let's change this to stippled and then click OK. All right, that added some noise. It made our color not so flat. It's got a bit of energy to it now. Okay, so we want to open up a new window called Transparency. So on the tippy top, go to Window, and it's all in alphabetical order. So we go down to T, Transparency, Window, Transparency. And here's this new transparency window. We're gonna set the mode from normal to soft light. Okay, so now we turned that texture into a little bit of a noise. That's the same color as our ivory eggshell one in the background. Okay, so I'm gonna make this transparency window can go. And I'm gonna grab my black arrow and I'm gonna click and drag to select everything on the artboard. I could also Control A, select all. And on the tippy top, we're gonna go to Object, Group. Okay, so now our background has been grouped. Okay, let's lock the background. Okay, make sure you lock the background and not just the group in the sublayer. So lock the background. Select the rectangle tool and make sure you have the photo layer selected and just click once on your artboard. We're going to make a rectangle that has a width of 360 pixels and a height of 460 pixels and click OK. Now grab your black arrow and we're going to move this so it is centered on our artboard. Okay, we want to double click on the fill and give this a fill of E8, D4, B, F. Click OK. Now, right click on the rectangle, right click, transform, rotate, right click, transform, rotate, and we're going to, turn your preview on if you have the option, angle of -8. Just a slight tilt there. Okay, edit, copy or Control C, and edit, paste or Control V. With your black arrow, move this new rectangle right on top of the previous one. If you open up the caret on your photos, you'll see there's two rectangles in photos. So click on, select the top rectangle and double click on the fill. In the top rectangle, we're going to give a fill of 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. On the tippy top, effect, texture, grain. Effect, texture, grain. Let's hide this. And we should have our settings the same. Intensity, 40, contrast, 50, type, stippled. Click OK. And then our transparency window, I think I made mine disappear. So window, transparency, I'll bring it back. And I'm going to change the transparency type from normal to soft light. So with your black arrow, click and drag to select everything on your artboard, or Control A, select all. And on the tippy top, object, group. Now under your photos, you should have a group. Now lock the group layer, not the photo, just the group layer. Lock the group layer. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. We're going to use the same dimensions, a width of 360 pixels and a height of 460 pixels. Click OK. Grab your black arrow and we're going to move this to the center. And what you're looking for is these triangles sticking out to be about the same size. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to change the color, the fill of this rectangle. I'm going to double click. And I'm going to give it a color of FFF8F0. Okay. Edit, copy, Control C. Edit, paste, Control V. I'm going to set this fill. I'm going to change the color. And this one will be 3333333. Okay. And with your black arrow, put this right on top of the other one, which can be kind of hard because the first one is white. So you're looking to make sure no little white spots are sticking out. Okay. So in your photos, you should now have a dark gray and a very almost white, and then our locked group underneath. So select this dark gray rectangle. And on the tippy top, go to Effect, Texture, Grain. And we're using the same settings, intensity of 40, contrast of 50, grain type stippled, click OK. And in our transparency window transparency, we're going to change it from normal to soft light. We're also going to make the opacity here 64%. So soft light, 64%. Select your black arrow and click and drag everything on your screen, or Control A, select all. And on the tippy top, object, group. Okay, so now I'm going to collapse the photo. I'm going to shrink the photo layer group, and I'm going to lock that photo layer group. And I'm going to unlock the city layer. So this layer up here. Okay. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. We're going to make this rectangle a width of 280 and a height of 340. Click OK. And we're going to set this rectangle with a fill of gradient. So click on the gradient button. Double click on the left dot, the white dot, double click on the white dot, and we're going to click on the option and we're going to choose RGB. In the hex code now on the bottom, we're going to put F9C958. Double click on the black slider, black dot, choose your options, choose RGB. And in the hex code on the bottom, we're going to put in F97E58. Okay, we want to set our angle. So right now it's yellow on the left, orange on the right. We want to set our angle to 90 degrees. We want the orange on the top and the yellow on the bottom. Select your black arrow. We want to move this gradient rectangle so it's in the center. It's not in the center, it's actually a little bit higher up. We're trying to make a Polaroid here. So our Polaroid has a little bit more room on the bottom than it does on the top. So the top, the right, and the left should be about equal, and then the bottom has a little bit more white. So in our layers, we're going to rename, we're going to open up the city. And inside the city, we have this rectangle. And we're going to rename this rectangle to sky. Select the ellipse tool. And we're going to click on the artboard. This ellipse is going to have a height of 112. A width of 112 and a height of 112. Click OK. And we're going to give this ellipse, this circle, a solid fill. And we're going to double click on the fill color and we're going to choose FFD18D. Click OK. Grab your black arrow. We're going to move this to the bottom center of our gradient, close to the bottom but not touching the bottom. In our layers, rename this ellipse to sun. The sun and the sky, and lock down sky layer and lock down sun layer. Okay, so we have our background, and we have a shadow, and we have a Polaroid picture, and right now, this background part is done. And we're going to zoom in. I'm going to Control plus, because really, now we're just going to make our picture inside this little gradient photograph. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. I'm going to set a width of 108 and a height of 112. Click OK. Double click on the fill, and we're going to give this a fill of E87D60. Okay. And we're going to move it to the bottom right. Now, my my shapes are not snapping and I do want them to snap. So let me come up to the top. Under view, I'm gonna snap to pixel. And that should get it a little better. Zoom in some more. Okay. We're gonna be working very small, so you do wanna zoom in and make sure everything is lining up because we're gonna add a little detail, a lot of detail to these little buildings. Okay, so now we have a rectangle in our layers, and we're gonna double click rectangle and name it Building 1. Lock Building 1 layer. Select the rectangle tool. Click on the artboard. Set a width of 12 pixels and a height of 8. Click OK. Double click on the fill, and we're going to give this a fill of BA473C. Click OK or press enter. Now, I'm going to edit, copy, Control C, and edit paste 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want a total of 7 red rectangles. Select the black arrow and move these rectangles into a column. It does not matter how pretty they look right now, but you do want to put the top one near where you want it to end up on the top and the bottom one near where you want it to end up on the bottom. And the middle ones can be kind of funky, but the bookend ones are important. So now we've got all of our red rectangles in a column. Click and drag to select all of these red rectangles. On the top, not the tippy top, but your options bar on top, you see the word align. Click on the word align, and we want to align horizontal align center. That's the second option in align. That makes all the center axes points in line with each other. Now we want to distribute. We want to vertical distribute top. So the distribute, if we're going to distribute from the top, our top one needs to be in the right spot. If we want to distribute from the bottom one's going to be in the right spot. And if we want to distribute from the center one needs to be in the right spot. So I told you to put the top and the bottom ones where you think they should end up. So you're going to choose either the top or the bottom. And that will make everything we have selected equally distributed from the top down to the bottom. Okay, while these are all still selected, go to the tippy top object, group. And you should see in your layers, these are now all in a group. Now we're going to edit, copy this group, and then edit, paste, Control V, 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, for a total of 5 columns. Okay, and now you're going to put one on the right, and then again, the ones in the middle don't really matter, but as long as you have the bookend, in this case, it's going to be left and right, are in the right spot. The middle ones can be kind of funky. Click and drag to select all or Control A. Go back to align, and we're going to align vertical align top. So this says I want all the things on the top to be aligned with each other. They should all touch the same ceiling. Okay. And then horizontal distribute left. So we know that we put that first one, that left one, where we wanted it. And again, you can also do the right one because we put the right one where we wanted it, but the middle ones we want to avoid. So I'm going to do left. Now from left to right, all of our columns are evenly distributed. Okay, on the tippy top, go to Object, Group. And these are windows to our building. And now we have made all of these 35 windows very quickly, and we've got them aligned vertically and horizontally and distributed. Okay, so now this is called group, and I want you to lock the group. Select the rectangle tool, and we're actually going to go put a roof on. So make some room up top. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. We're going to set the width to 112 and the height to 10. Click OK. Set the fill color to FFEDD7. Click OK. Grab your black arrow, and we're going to move this rectangle so it sits flush. It should be flush with the orange sky, and it should be flush with the top of the building, and it should be hanging over the left just a bit. Okay, select the rectangle tool, click on the artboard, and this is going to have a width of 112 and a height of 2. Double click your fill and set the color to BA473C. That's our red color. Grab the selection tool, black arrow, and we're going to move this. I might want to zoom in. We're going to move it down so it's about 2/3 down this white rectangle. And then edit, copy, edit, paste. And we're going to move this new one like this. So we have 2 pixels of white, 2 pixels of red, 2 pixels of white, 2 pixels of red, 2 pixels of white. Okay? And it's nice and flush on the right and the left. So we've just added a little detail, architectural detail to our roof. Okay, we're going to look in our layer window. We're going to unlock group and unlock building 1. And you can, with your black arrow, click and drag to select everything, or Control A, select all. And on the tippy top, Object, Group. So now all parts of this building we made are now together in a group. And we're going to lock this group layer. Select the rectangle tool, and we're going to keep moving up. So we're going to go up a little. Select the rectangle tool and click on your artboard. This one's going to be a square, a width of 10 and a height of 10. Click OK. Now this should be our red. So I'm just going to use the eyedropper, and I can grab our red. You could also put in the hex code, but now once you have the color that you want to use on here, you can use the eyedropper to grab it. So get a red 10 by 10 square, Grab your black arrow move tool, and we're going to move it so it sits, so it sits flush on top of the building. Oops, I'm going to zoom in so I do that. Okay. Nice and flush on top of the building. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This one's going to be double the size, 20 pixels by 20 pixels. Click OK. We want it to be red, and we're going to grab the black arrow, and this one's going to be right to the left. Okay, flush. So it's touching the little guy on the right, and it's touching the roof. Select the rectangle tool. Click on your artboard. This one's going to be 10 by 10, so 10 pixels by 10 pixels. Click OK. Grab your black arrow. And this one is going to the top right of the 20 by 20 square. It's going to the top right. Select the rectangle tool and click on your artboard. This one will have a width of 2 and a height of 30. Click OK. He's a tall, skinny. And we're going to put this right in the center here. So there's about just as much yellow on the right as there is on the left. Okay, we just made an antenna detail for the top of this building. Control A to select all, or click and drag to select everything. And on the tippy top, object, group. Let's rename this group to antenna and lock the antenna layer. Now I also want you to hide. So we've locked it. Now I want you to hide it by clicking on the eyeball. Okay. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This one will be a width of 68 and a height of 104. Click OK. Oh, this one's big, so I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to set the fill color, so double click on fill. This one will be FFE5C0. And that's our eggshell color. Grab your black arrow, and this is going to go on top of this bottom building. Okay, so it's flush on the right, it's flush with the orange, and it's flush with the white roof of this other building. Okay. Now in your layers, we have this new rectangle layer. Lock down the rectangle layer. Select the rectangle tool. Click on the artboard. Set a width of 68, a height of 4. Click OK. Change your fill color to BA473C. This is our red. Now edit copy, and you're going to paste it, edit paste, or control V paste 11 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You should have a total of 12 red rectangles. Grab your black arrow and move them into a column. Well, actually, it doesn't matter as long as you have one on the bottom and one on the top where you think they should go. And then we will distribute the rest. So one on the top, one on the bottom. Click and drag to select all of these horizontal red rectangles. On the top, click on the word align. We're going to horizontal align center. This gets the center axes points all lined up. We're going to do distribute from top or bottom, because you have your top one in place, you have your bottom one in place. So let's do distribute top. Everything is evenly distributed. And then we can line it up so it's nice and flush with our edges. Okay. Okay, look at our layers. And this white rectangle layer, let's unlock that white rectangle layer. Click and drag to select all these rectangles, or Control A, select all. And on the tippy top, object, group. So you have a new group over here. Let's unhide the antenna. Let's unlock the antenna and then move the antenna layer above the group layer. Click and drag to select all of this, or Control A to select all, the building plus the antenna. On the tippy top, object, group. So now all of this is one group. I want you to unlock this orange and red group. So this one's unlocked and this one's unlocked. Click and drag to select everything on the screen, or Control A, select all. Go to the tippy top, object, group. Now we have all of this is one group. So we're going to now lock down all of these buildings. We're going to work in this area now, so I'm going to zoom in. Okay, select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This one will have a width of 20, a height of 52. Click OK. Set the fill color, double click on your fill, to CCC, CCC. Grab your black arrow and move this gray building so it's flush up against the striped one and on top of the white and red roof. And we're going to lock down this gray rectangle and select the rectangle tool again. Click on the artboard. I'm going to set a width of 8, a height of 52. Click OK. Give this a fill color, double click on the fill. And this is BA473C, our red. You can also eyedrop the red. Select your black arrow. And we're going to move this on top of the black arrow so it's covering the right edge. It's on top of the right edge of the gray rectangle. Okay, lock down this red rectangle. Select the rectangle tool. Click on the artboard. This one we're going to give a width of 12 and a height of 4. Click OK. edit, copy, and you're going to Control V paste it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times for a total of 6 rectangles. Move one to the top of where you want it to go, move one to the bottom, put the rest in the middle, click and drag all of these red rectangles, click on Align at the top, horizontal align center. You can actually also do horizontal left. Okay. And then distribute from top or bottom. And now we have them all nice and aligned and evenly distributed. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This is going to be a square with a width of 8 and a height of 8. Click OK. Grab your black arrow and move it to the top center of this gray and red building. I'll move it to the left a little more. You should have about the same amount of yellow on the right as you have on the left. Select the rectangle tool, click on your artboard. This one's going to be a width of 2 and a height of 8. Click OK. Grab your black arrow, and this is going to be lined up. It's going to be flush with the top left. Okay, we just made another little antenna topper. So look in your layers, unlock this red rectangle and unlock this gray rectangle. Control A to select all, or click and drag to select all, everything that's unlocked. On the tippy top, go to Object, Group. Unlock this other group. So you have 2 groups and they're both unlocked. Control A to select all groups, Object, Group. And when we do this, it just keeps our layers nice and clean. If you open this up, you'll see all of our groups inside all of our other groups. But since we're using, hundreds of shapes here, it's best to group things, name things, and group things so that you keep your workspace clean. Okay, let's lock this group layer. And we are going to keep going up. So we're going to come above this white and red building. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Select a width of 52 pixels, a height of 56. Click OK. Double click the fill, and we're going to make this DDD4C8. Click OK. Grab your black arrow, and we're going to move this so it's flush with the orange on the right and the top of this white and red building. Okay, we're going to lock down this light gray rectangle. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. I'm going to set a width of 12 pixels, a height of 56. Click OK. And change the fill color. BA473C. This is our red. Grab your black arrow, and we're going to move the red rectangle all the way to the right so it's flush with the right edge and flush with the top of this building. Okay, lock down this red rectangle. Click on the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This one will be a width of 4 pixels and a height of 56. Click OK. We're going to edit copy, and we're going to Control V paste 1, 2, 3 times for a total of 4 skinny red rectangles. Put one to the left, we still want some gray, and put one to the right, we still want some gray. Select these 4 rectangles, go up to a line on the top, vertical align center, and then distribute, horizontal distribute left or right. So now we've got these. Try to get the same amount of gray on the right as on the left. Okay, select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This one will have a width of 20 and a height of 8. Click OK. Grab your black arrow, and we want to put this center of this building. So you want about the same amount of orange on the right as on the left. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This one will have a width of 10 and a height of 8. Click OK. Grab your black arrow and zoom in. This one's going to go top left of the previous rectangle. Select the rectangle tool. Click on the artboard. This one will have a width of 1 pixel, height of 16. Click OK. Tall, skinny. Grab your black arrow, and we're going to move this so it's flush of the top left of the previous rectangle. We've made another antenna topper. Okay, look at your layers. Unlock this red rectangle. Unlock the gray rectangle. And zoom out. So you can click and drag all these new buildings, or Control A, select everything that's not locked. And on the tippy top object, group. So now we have 2 groups. Unlock both groups. Control A, select all. On the tippy top object, group. Lock the group layer down. We're going to work towards the top, the gray and red building, towards the top. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 2 pixels and a height of 24. Click OK. And grab your black arrow. And we're going to move this in the middle of this spot right here. So we have about an equal amount of orange on the right and on the left. Select it. Control C copy or edit copy, and Control V paste or edit paste. Move this new one to the left of the previous one. with some space in between. So I went to the left of it. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This one has a width of 4 and a height of 2 pixels. Click OK. And we're going to edit copy this and edit paste 1, 2 times. I'm going to move 1 towards the top, 1 towards the middle, and 1 towards the bottom. For the top and the bottom, I want there to be some space. I want there to be some orange. So don't put it all the way at the top. I want to put it, oops, that's small. Put it down a little bit from the top. Okay, click and drag and select just these 3. So don't click and drag and select all 5. We want to go skinny down the middle and select the 3 new rectangles. And on top, we're going to select align, horizontal align center. And we can distribute, vertical distribute center. There we go. Ah, very nice and even already. Okay. Good. If you need to move this, you can move this. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This one's going to have a width of 20 pixels and a height of 4 pixels. Click OK. And with your black arrow, we're going to move this so it touches the gray building on the right. And it should be about center. I can see that my things here maybe go to the right just a little. It sits on top and touches the gray building. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This has a width of 14 pixels and a height of 10 pixels. Click OK. We're going to move up. This, grab your black arrow, and this square or this rectangle is going to sit on top. So it should be flush on top of the previous rectangle. We want to try to get it center. Okay. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. A width of 52 pixels and a height of 2. Click OK. And we're going to edit copy and edit paste. So we have 2 of these. I'm going to zoom out a little. Select your black arrow, and you're going to move one of these long rectangles to the top of the almost squarish rectangle, and you're going to move the other one so it's a couple pixels below, and so it's also touching. So they're both flush up against this rectangle. Select the rectangle tool and click on your artboard. Set a width of 2 pixels and a height of 4 pixels. Click OK. Now I'm going to zoom in. Right click on this rectangle. Right click, transform, shear. Right click, transform, shear. my preview button on. I'm going to shear angle up here, shear angle of -30. Now I want to edit, copy this and edit, paste, or Control V 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times for a total of 8 sheared rectangles. Grab your black arrow. I'm going to move one towards the end, towards the left side. Zoom out a little more. Move one to the right. And the rest, remember, the ones in the middle, you can kind of, doesn't matter. So there's a bunch in there. And now we want to select just these sheared rectangles. So you might need to zoom in because we want to just click and drag very skinny in between these two long red rectangles. And we want to select just the slanted or the sheared rectangles. There's a bunch of them under here. Align. We're going to vertical align center. And we're going to distribute, horizontal distribute left or right. There we go. And now they're all aligned and they're all evenly distributed. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Select a width of 2 pixels and a height of 4 pixels. Click OK. And with your black arrow, we're going to move this, oops, to the end. Zoom in a little more. These little guys are hard to grab. And I'm putting it on the end. It's flush. I'm sort of closing the end, and we've made a crane. Select the rectangle tool, click on the artboard. Set a width of 2 pixels and a height of 10 pixels. Click OK. Select the black arrow. We're going to move this to the top center of this crane house. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. This one has a width of 2 and a height of 20. Click OK. Right click, transform, rotate. Right click, transform, rotate. We're going to set the angle to -66. Okay. Grab your black arrow, and we're going to move this goal. I think 66 was not the right angle. So we're going to rotate, and I want you to get this to fit. And we want to get it so it makes a nice triangle. Right here. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set the width to 1 pixel and height to 48. Click OK. Now with your black arrow, we're going to move this to the end of the crane, not all the way to the end. It's going to be away from the edge a little bit. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width to 8 pixels and a height of 2. Click OK. With your black arrow, we're going to, I need to zoom in. I'm going to move it to the bottom of this long skinny one we just had. Okay, and we made a crane. Looks complicated, but it was made out of just rectangles. Okay, with your black arrow, click and drag to select all parts of the crane and object group them together. So look in your layers, you have the crane group that we just made and all the buildings we made before this in a group. Let's unlock that group. So both groups are unlocked. Control A, select all, and on the tippy top object, group. Okay, we're going to rename this whole group. You can see everything that's in there. I'm going to double click and rename this group Right Buildings. And we're going to lock down the right buildings. Okay, we're going to start building the bottom of the left. So let's select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 172 pixels and a height of 36. Click OK. We're going to give this a fill color, so double click on the fill, and it is a hex code of FFE5C0. Click OK. Grab your black arrow, and we're going to move this to the bottom left corner. Control plus, zoom in. Okay, nice and flush with the bottom and the left of our gradient. Okay, in your layers, we want to lock down this beige rectangle. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. It has a width of 12 and a height of 36. Click OK. Double click on fill. We're going to give this a fill of BA473C. That's our red. You can also eyedrop the red. Grab your black arrow. And I'm going to move this to the far right of our previous rectangle. And this is flush with our orange building on the right. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set the width to 160 pixels, height of 4 pixels. Click OK. And edit, copy, Control C, and then edit, paste 1, 2, 3 times for a total of 4 red rectangles. We're going to stack them on top of this white rectangle. And I want a little bit of white on the bottom. I want a little bit of white on top. Remember, the middle ones don't really matter. Click and drag to select all 5 of these horizontal red rectangles. On top, align horizontal, align center, distribute, vertical distribute top or bottom. Then we can move them so they are now flush with the left edge of our gradient and with the red rectangle here. Okay, in our layers, let's unlock that beige rectangle. Control A, select all, or click and drag to select all unlocked objects. And on the tippy top, object group. And in your layers, lock this group. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 96 pixels, a height of 16 pixels, click OK. I'm gonna give this a fill color, double click your fill of FFEDD7. I'd say almost white. And we're going to put it top center of the previous building. Select the rectangle tool, click on the artboard. Set a width of 96, set a height of 2 pixels, click OK. We're going to double click on the fill color. We're going to give this a fill of BA473C, red. Edit, copy, edit, paste once, edit, paste twice, for a total of 3. Grab your black arrow, and we want to put these two. Okay, select just these 3 rectangles. So you can click on one of the red ones, hold down Shift, and click on the other one, and keep holding Shift and click on the third. I've just selected those 3. And on top with a line, horizontal align center, vertical distribute top. This one, because there's only 3, you could do any option. Okay. Now we want to move them so they're nice and flush inside our rectangle. And I see now that I'm zoomed in, my white rectangle needs to move down a little bit, so I'm grabbing everything. Here we go. Okay. Click and drag to select the 3 small red rectangles and the white one behind it. So 1, 2, 3 red and the white behind it on top. And object group. So now we have 2 groups. This small building on top, and the locked group is the bigger building on the bottom. This unlocked one on top, we're going to rename the group on top. So double click and name it Building 5. And then lock building 5, and then hide building 5. So building 5 is locked and hidden. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set width to 76 pixels and height to 140. Click OK. Zoom out. Okay, we're going to change the fill color, so double click on fill, and this will be C, 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 C. Grab your black arrow and going to put this top left on top of the previous building, so it is flush the top of the building and flush with the left of our gradient. In the layers, lock down this gray rectangle and select the rectangle tool. Click on the artboard, set a width of 8 pixels and a height of 4 pixels. Click OK. And change the fill color. It's going to be our red, so let's just eyedrop a red. There we go. And edit copy. And then edit paste or Control V 15 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 copies for a total of 16 red rectangles. And we're going to make these into a column. We're going to make windows. I'm going to place one rectangle up top where I want it. So I want it not all the way up to the top, leave some gray. I want one, the lowest one, be towards the bottom, but a little bit of gray still. And then all the other ones, doesn't matter where they go. So it's when you're aligning, you want your bookends to be important, top and the bottom. Okay, now click and drag to select all of your red windows. Up top, align. Horizontal, align center. And then distribute, vertical distribute, top or bottom. Oh, that looks nice. Okay, on the tippy top, object, group. So now we have a group that is this whole column. Now edit, copy this column and paste it 1, 2, 3, 4 times for a total of 5 columns. Okay, you're going to place one column as far to the right as you want it, leave some gray. Drag one column to the left as much as you want, leave some gray. And then again, the middle ones, doesn't matter so much. Click and drag to select all 5 columns. Align. Now here you can align top, which means they're all going to be flush on top. And we can distribute, horizontal distribute left or right. Let's just move these a little more center on top of our gray. Looks good. All right, lots of windows done very quickly, nicely aligned, nicely distributed. Okay, select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Give a width of 76 pixels and a height of 6 pixels. Click OK. Select the black arrow, and we're going to move this to the top of the gray building. It will be the roof. So get it nice and flush. Okay, in our layers, I'm going to unlock the gray rectangle, Control A, select all. And that should be the gray building and all the red windows and the red roof. On the tippy top, object, group. And here in your layers, you'll see that building is now a group. Now let's unhide and unlock building 5. And in your layers, move building 5 above the group, this new building. And you'll see the red and white striped building is now in front of our gray building. Unlock the other group, which is this building on the bottom. So we have 2 groups in building 5 unlocked. Control A to select all the buildings on the left. On the tippy top, object, group. We're gonna go up. We're gonna build on top of this building here. So I'm gonna zoom in. Select the rectangle tool and click on your artboard. I'm gonna make a square that is 10 pixels by 10 pixels. Click OK. And we're going to move this sort of roughly around here. And we're going to right click, transform, rotate. Right click, transform, rotate. 45 degrees. 45 degrees like a diamond. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. You're going to make a square that is this time 14 pixels by 14 pixels. Grab your black arrow, and this will go across the diamond. So here's the diamond and the square. You want the top of the square to go across the middle of that diamond. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 1 pixel, height of 14 pixels. Click OK. And we're going to edit, copy, edit, paste, so we have 2. Oh, 3. Sorry, we want 3. And 1 will go on the right side of this house. 1 will go on the left side, and 1 will go in the middle. I'm going to click and drag to select these 3. Align on top. Going to vertical align center, and then horizontal distribute left or right to get this middle one nice and centered. Okay, now these legs, we've made a water tower. These legs are a bit longer than I had put the house. So I'm going to click and drag and just make sure I'm grabbing the diamond and the square. And I'm going to move my house straight up so that these legs are a little bit longer. Control A, select all, and object, group. Everything on the left so far. Okay, we're going to now build here in this area. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 32 pixels and a height of 88. Click OK. Grab your black arrow and move this rectangle. You want it to be flush with the gray building and flush with the roof of the red and white striped building. Okay, in the layers, lock down the group that we have. Select the rectangle tool, click on the artboard. This one has a width of 2 pixels, a height of 88. Click OK. The long skinny one, and we're going to change the color to CCC, CCC. Okay, with your black arrow, we're going to move this so it's on top of the right edge of the red rectangle. I'm going to edit, copy it, and paste 1, 2, 3 times for a total of 4. And we're not going to spread these all the way across. We want to keep them nice and evenly spaced. We want to keep them pretty close together like this. Keep them pretty close together like this. So about halfway over, I'm going to click on one, hold down Shift, click on the next gray one, hold down Shift, click on gray, hold down Shift, click on gray. So I have the 4 gray rectangles selected. Click Align on top, vertical align center, horizontal distribute left or right. They're nice and aligned and distributed, but I see there's a little gap on the bottom, so I'm just going to move them down. Oh, there we go. That's what we're looking for. Okay, we're going to build a little bit on top of this. So grab your rectangle tool, click on the artboard, set a width of 10 pixels and a height of 8. Click OK. Grab your black arrow, and we're going to move this black rectangle so it's sort of centered on top of these gray stripes. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 4 pixels and a height of 8 pixels. Click OK. Grab your black arrow, zoom in a little, and this is going to go top right, above on the top right, so it's nice and flush. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 1 and a height of 8. Click OK. Grab your black arrow, and this is going to go in top, above, and to the right of the previous rectangle. Zoom out. And there we go. Control A to select all parts of this building. And on the tippy top, object group. Let's unlock the group layer, which is buildings on the left. Control A, select all the buildings on the left. And on the tippy top, object group. Okay, now we're back down to one group, and let's lock that one group. Okay, we're gonna keep going up. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 56 pixels and a height of 100 pixels. Click OK. We're going to change the color, so let's double click and change the fill to E87D60. Grab your black arrow and we're going to move this so it is flush on top of this red roof and flush with the gradient background. Okay, select the white arrow. Select the direct selection tool white arrow. And we're going to select just this one top right anchor point. So you'll see when that little dot pops up, click and drag it down so that we now have a slanted roof on this building. Okay, now this has now got changed from rectangle to path. And I want you to now lock the path layer. Select the rectangle tool and click on your artboard. Set the width to 56 pixels and a height of 4 pixels. Click OK. We're gonna fill this with our red, which is BA473C. And we're gonna put it on top of our red building and edit, copy, and then Control V or edit paste 9 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times for a total of 10 red rectangles. We want to put one towards the top near this angle that we changed. We want to put one towards the bottom, but we want there to be orange still. And then all the middle ones, remember, it doesn't really matter. Okay, Control A to select all of these red rectangles. Align, horizontal, align center. Vertical, distribute top or bottom. Now get it so it lines up nice and flush. So unlock the path, Control A, select all, and object, group this building together. We're going to rename this group, and we're going to name this group mid or middle. Since we have mid, this building is now called mid, and we're going to move the mid layer below the group layer so that our water tower is now on top. Now let's unlock group. Control A to select all the buildings on the left, and object, group them together. Okay, lock down the group, and we're going to keep building up. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 48 pixels and a height of 20 pixels. Click OK. And we're going to select the black arrow, and we're going to move this red rectangle so that the top left corner matches up with the top left corner of our orange building. So just like that. Now, right click, arrange, send backward. Right click, arrange, send backward. Okay. You can also see this rectangle went under our group. So we still have our nice angle in here. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 15 pixels and a height of 10 pixels. Click OK. And grab the black arrow, and we're going to move this right about here. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 10 pixels and a height of 5. Click OK. Okay, now we're going to select the black arrow. I'm going to zoom in a little. And we're going to put this to the left of the other one. It's next door. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 2 pixels and a height of 8 pixels. Click OK. Grab your black arrow, and we're going to put this, oops, zoom in. I'm going to put this top right, above and to the right of the first bigger rectangle. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 1 pixel, height of 20 pixels. Click OK. Grab your black arrow, and we're going to put this sort of center of the bigger rectangle. And we just made another antenna tower. Okay, in our layers, let's unlock the group. Control A, select all the buildings on the left, on the tippy top, object, group them together. And now in our layers, we're going to rename group to left buildings. So we did the right, did the left, lock down the left buildings. And now we're going to build in the middle, right on top of the sun. So I'm going to zoom in to the sun. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 4 pixels and a height of 24 pixels. Click OK. Edit, copy, edit, paste. And we're going to move these both so they sit flush on top of the beige and red building on the bottom. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 64 pixels and a height of 4 pixels. Click OK. Select the black arrow and move this rectangle. Okay, so it should be flush on top of these vertical rectangles, and it should also be flush touching the orange building on the right and the gray building on the left. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 64 and a height of 2. Click OK. Select the black arrow, and we're going to move this just a little bit below the previous rectangle. Select the ellipse tool. Select the ellipse tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 64 pixels and a height of 48 pixels. Click OK. We're going to give this a fill of none and a stroke of our red. Our stroke is going to be 4 pixels. And we're going to edit, copy, edit, paste. We're going to move them, above our previous rectangles. And we want to leave some yellow, so we want to move them up so there's a bit of yellow showing under them. And what we want is in the middle, we want them to overlap, not just touch. We want them to, very touchy. I want them to overlap. And I'm going to be very particular here. And I move this to the right just a little. There we go. I want this meeting to be centered over the center of this shape. Okay, so we have these 2 ellipses. Select the direct selection tool, the white arrow. The white arrow. And I want you to find the anchor point, top anchor point of the ellipse. And you'll know you found it because a white square will come up and next to your icon will be a white square. When you find that white square on top, click on it. Now it turns green. That means we've selected this anchor point. And then hit the delete key. And we're going to do that to the top of this one also. Click on the top anchor point and hit the delete key. Okay, on the ellipse on the left, on this left one, I want you to select the left ellipse, the left anchor point of the left ellipse, and hit the delete key. Select the right anchor point of the right ellipse and press the delete key. Grab your black arrow, and I'm going to grab both pieces here. And I'm just going to move them so that they are flush, touching the buildings. Select the rectangle tool, or rectangle, and click on the artboard. Set a width of 4 pixels and a height of 34 pixels. Click OK. And we want to switch our fills here so we have a fill of red and a stroke of none. Select your black arrow, and we want to move this so it is center. We have it nice and flush on top of our rectangle. It's center, and now you can see this one might need to move over to the left a little. I like things to be very precise. That looks good. Okay. Control A to select all parts of, we made a bridge in the background. So Control A, select all on the tippy top, object group. Here's our group in the layers. Okay. Select the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 2 and a height of 10. We're going to copy, and edit, paste. And I'm going to grab the black arrow. I'm going to place one. Oops, zoom in a little. I'll place one in between the ellipse and this horizontal rectangle so it's touching the gray building. I'm going to move the other one to the right so it's touching the orange building. Now I want to paste 2 more times. Edit, paste, edit, paste. Got 2 more. I'm going to move one to the left so there's still a space of yellow, and move one to the right so there's still a space of yellow. I can move, oh, I grouped it, so it's too late. Fix that. There we go. Okay, let's click on the rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Width of 2, height of 15. Click OK. And edit, copy, edit, paste. We have 2 more, a little bit taller. We're going to move one to the left side. I'm going to move one to the right side. I'm going to space these out a little. So try to get them to match. Whoopsies. Okay. And that looks pretty good like that. Okay, let's Control A and select all parts of the bridge. Just remember, we still have our group unlocked. So Control A, select all parts of the bridge, and on the tippy top, object group. Unlock the left buildings. Control A, select all, and object group. Unlock the right buildings. Control A, object group. There, so now we have all of our buildings in one group now. And we're going to lock this new group of everything. Select the rounded rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 30 pixels, a height of 4 pixels, and a corner radius of 2 pixels. Click OK. We're going to set the fill color to FFF, FFF. And I'm going to zoom in a little. I'm going to move, get the black arrow, and I'm going to move this so it's above and to the right of the sun. And I'm going to edit, copy, edit, paste. And I'm going to move this one up and to the left of the previous cloud. We're making clouds now. Okay, select the rounded rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 60 pixels, height of 4, corner radius of 2, click OK. And we're going to grab black arrow and we're going to move this one to the right of the water tower. Select the rounded rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 15 pixels, height of 4, corner radius 2, click OK. And grab the black arrow, and we're going to put this one above and to the left of the previous cloud we just made. Select the rounded rectangle and click on the artboard. Set a width of 75 pixels, height of 4, corner radius 2, click OK. Now this one, actually pretty much very close. I want it to be near the top left corner of this white and red striped building. And I want it to go above the crane line right here, this red crane line. Select the rounded rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 60 pixels and a height of 4, corner radius of 2, click OK. And we're going to grab our black arrow and we're going to put this to the right of our antenna on the left. Edit, copy, edit, paste. And we're going to put this new one down. It's blowing in the wind. Down and to the right. Select the rounded rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 10 pixels, height of 4, corner radius 2, click OK. Grab your black arrow. And this one's gonna go, gosh, one's gonna be hard to grab. It's gonna go to the, whoops, to the right of that previous one. Select the rounded rectangle tool, click on the artboard, undo restart. Select the black arrow and select these two clouds that we just made. Edit, copy, edit, paste. And we're going to move them to the top right of the background. Select the rounded rectangle tool, click on the artboard, and set a width of 90 pixels, width, height of 4, corner radius 2. Click OK. Grab your black arrow and put this down and to the left of the larger one that we just pasted. Select the rounded rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 20 pixels, height of 4, corner radius 2. Click OK. And grab your black arrow. And this one's going to go above right of the antenna. Okay, Control A, select all of the clouds and object group. Now right click the clouds, right click arrange, send backward. And you'll see the cloud, this cloud group is below the locked building group. And what that has done is it's put this red crane line in front of the cloud instead of behind the cloud. Select the regular rectangle tool and click on the artboard. Set a width of 360 pixels and a height of 460 pixels. Click OK. And we're going to change the fill color here to 666, 666. Click OK. grab the black arrow and we're going to put this, I'm going to try and do it nice and try to get it flush on top of our Polaroid picture. Make sure that gray rectangle is selected. And on the tippy top, go to Effect, Texture, Grain. Effect, Texture, Grain. And we're going to keep what we've been using, intensity at 40, contrast 50, grain type stippled. Okay. We're going to go to our transparency window, window transparency. We're going to change it from normal to soft light. And we're going to put our opacity down around 30. All right, and that adds just a little bit of texture, trying to make it look like a photograph. And the last part is to add our name. So we're going to grab the capital T type tool and we're going to put it in down here. We want to leave our nice Polaroid picture nice and clean. So on the bottom right of your artboard, click and you're going to add the first initial and your last name. It doesn't matter what font or color or anything you use, just as long as I can read it. And we don't want it to be too big, okay? It's just there to put your stamp of your name on it. It's not there to distract you from the art. I want to put your name in the bottom right-hand corner, and then now you are done. So go ahead and you want to file, save your AI file. And then you also want to file export this as a JPEG and turn it in.